Welcome to the Jimbo and Jeff podcast.
Never have you known such cringing terror.
The Jimbo and Jeff podcast. Now, here's Jimbo and Jeff.
Hello.
Hello. Jimbo and Jeff.
I'm working it.
I got the cable guy here.
Yeah, you did it.
Hey!
Hey guys, one second. Hey, I'm happy you guys, y'all back in business, internet ready, rocking.
We were thinking Jeff was going to have to do dial-up 14.4.
Right? What happened? Did you get like in a hailstorm last night, like a tornado?
We had a power surge in the neighborhood, and it fried the lines. Well, all right, Jimbo, you ready?
I'm ready. We're recording.
Let's start us off here.
Oh, we're rock and roll.
Jimbo and I just want to say thank you. I didn't know if this was going to happen, but we really appreciate you coming on the program today. We know you're a busy guy. Jimbo always gives me a hard time. I have 2 girls. You've got like 5 kids. 5. Yeah,
and a bunch of employees who are needier than my children sometimes.
Yes,
Did they hear me say that? I'm the only one in the office today.
So a big thank you, Chet, for coming on. So we're gonna get started. Chet
My pleasure.
Chet Garner is the creator, host, executive producer of The Daytripper, an 8-time Emmy award-winning Texas travel show airing on PBS stations across the country. Okay, time out. 8-time Emmy winner, Jimbo. We're just trying to get an audition.
Absolutely. And he just won, like a couple more just last week,
two more. Our total, it's Saturday night. We had a good night. We got a couple more. So we're at 11 right now.
Well, I stand corrected. I sit corrected. He's born in Comanche and raised in Port Nachos. Port Neches.
What? He sounds like some kind of Nederland bulldog saying that. Nachos?
Oh, I can edit all this. I can edit all this.
No, you're not. You're going to leave it in there.
I love it.
He's not going to. I found out that he's from Southeast Texas, so he won good points with me. But then he told me he was from Nederland, which was our arch nemesis.
Yes.
Down there. But
yes.
I guess we can bury the hatchet.
And you know what, Chad, real quick. When I was there, we had not beaten Port Neches 20 years in a row. When I was a senior, y'all beat us like, I don't know, 60-3 or something. But my brother, who's right behind us, was the little tiny 100-pound kicker who strode out the next year and kicked all the field goals and punted and beat you guys. And he was the Port Arthur News Player of the Week finally. Yeah. And the Nederland fans stormed the field. And that was in 19, I won't tell you what year, but that was way back.
He's got to be in bronze now, right? Outside, right at the entrance
they
of the
do.
high school?
He's got a statue outside the stadium. But no, he but since then, Chet, it has gone like Nederland, Port Neches, Nederland, just on and on and on. So anyway,
during my tenure, it went back and forth. But the most important one is the one your senior year, and we did get that one. We got that one.
Okay, good. Well, born in Comanche, raised in Port Neches. We'll learn all about this. Chet's love for storytelling began at a young age around the Boy Scout campfire. He toted around his grandfather's VHS video camera, staging elaborate productions in his backyard. We'll hear all of this. Chet earned his degree in radio, television, film from the University of Texas at Austin. Hook'em, I married a Longhorn, and went on to graduate first in his class from Baylor Law School. I think they sick him or something like that at Baylor, right? Yes, right. Okay. However, after practicing law for 3 years, he decided to follow his passions, and he turned to inspiring folks to appreciate beauty, history, and the food, and we'll talk about the food in the Lone Star State. What followed was a crash course in travel, filmmaking, marketing, doing whatever it takes to start a successful TV show. When not traveling, Chet is at home in Georgetown, Texas, right up the road, with his wife, 5 children, although he usually has the family on the road too. Please give a warm and a gigantic welcome to an all-around great guy, and we finally have him here on the Jimbo and Jeff podcast, Mr. Chet Garner.
Yes, indeed. That was a very eloquent intro there, Jeff, so thank you.
Well, first you do succeed.
Only half of it was true. Well, we'll tell you which half.
Chet, we are excited. So if you don't mind, Jimbo, I'll start us off. First question. My wife wanted me to ask this, and let me back up. So during the quarantine, everything shut down, church, we couldn't go, Sunday morning. So what do? We turn on cable. I don't watch TV. My wife and family does. We turn on, my girls go, day tripper, day tripper, day tripper. What are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. We turn on the day tripper. Oh my gosh, I can't remember. And I said, this is all, there's no quality TV on anyway. And this was an awesome program. That in Texas Parks and Wildlife, I absolutely love. We love the day tripper. So my wife says, oh, you're going to have the day tripper on. Great. She says, ask him, where have you been lately in the state of Texas? Now I'll shut up.
Yeah. Okay, so technically, last trip. Well, let me back up. Of course, quarantining shut the world down. We were not quarantine tripping illegally, so we stopped. But fortunately, we had a bunch of episodes in the can, and so we just kind of went into post-production mode and cranked them all out from home. It was funny, like we barely squeezed in the last episode from the season. Remember around spring break, things were getting weird, and we had an episode that we were filming literally the Friday before spring break to Spring, Texas. And we were like, should we go? Should we not? Houston's kind of iffy. And we're like, we should probably delay it in just a couple weeks, and we'll be able to film it in a couple weeks. But then it was like, no, who cares? Let's just go do it. Well, thankfully we did it, or else we would have been completely screwed. Wouldn't have that episode, and that was one of the ones that the last one of the season. So we hunkered down. We have made new shows. We're in season 12 right now. We're almost finished filming season 12 right now. We pulled out some great normal episodes, but like everybody, we had to pivot. And so this season we're doing a mashup. All except for 3 episodes are these clip shows where we're pulling in past episodes, spinning them in a new way. And it gives us some cool opportunities to do some neat things. Like our most recent one that aired was a Texas Revolution road trip, where we were actually able to string all the big events of the Texas Revolution together into one narrative, which I thought was pretty cool. But I'm rambling now. To answer your question, the last thing I did was jump out of a plane in Salado, Texas, to celebrate I turned 40, my mom turned 70, and we jumped out of a plane together. It was our first time to do it. We filmed the whole thing at Skydive Temple, which is technically in Salado.
Right.
That was a trip. That was awesome.
Now, were these tandem jumps or?
Oh yeah. They were.
Push mom out. See you, Mom. Bye.
I ain't going out of a plane by myself. I did what am I gonna do? I black out and then just hammer into the ground. So no tandem jumps. I asked the guy I was strapped to. Right. I mean, they essentially give you a human backpack, and then the guy I was jumping in front of had jumped 6,500 times. I was like, how many times did you jump yesterday? And he was like, 9. I was like, okay,
Wow.
At some point, you're like, this is just a day in, day out, ordinary business for these guys, which helps you feel a little safer. But statistically, it's more dangerous to drive on I-35 to get there than it is to jump out of a plane.
I've actually driven by and seen that. On I-35, you see the people in parachutes. It's right off the highway on 35.
Right on the highway.
Yeah.
Right on the highway. So that was the last trip. The other interesting one that was last month was we ate the world's largest pizza. Now, I should rephrase. We ordered the world's largest pizza and barely made a dent in the thing. But in Burleson, Texas, there is a place called the Moon Tower that makes they officially have the Guinness Book of World Records, so they've got the crown for the world's largest pizza. It's like the size of 2 sheets of plywood. It's enormous, and that's the largest commercially available pizza. So other people have made bigger ones, but the bigger ones, they were like a one and done festival thing. Yeah. This is the one that any Joe can walk off the street and order.
Hey, I want to back up a little bit. So I read that you and Jeff, he brought it up in the intro here, but you started off as a lawyer. You went to school, you spent money, you got an education. What was it? Just not what you expected? Kind of, what's the story behind that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're optimistic going through school and going, I can make it work. Sure, this sounds like a noble profession. And I got an undergraduate degree in radio, television, and film from UT.
Sure.
So that's always been my primary passion. But I like school, and so I thought I'm just going to continue my education. And literally, it was like law seems like the least limiting one and the most useful one. Kind of like that balance of both things. And so went to law school thinking I was going to jump out and do the entertainment law, maybe make the jump to Hollywood, something. Or at that time, Austin had this really great growing film industry that it doesn't so much have anymore, but it did at the time. So I thought maybe I'll get to stay in Texas and do this. But went and found, did well enough to where I got one of these jobs that fall out of the sky. And I was like, well, I'd be an idiot with all this enormous law school debt to not take this big pants job. And so took one in Austin, optimistically thinking this could be it. And then, it wasn't but a couple weeks in, I'm like, oh, this is awful.
What did I do?
Yeah. It wasn't so much a what did I do? Oh my gosh, I've made a terrible mistake. It was, all right, well, I know this isn't the road I'm going to be riding until I retire. So where's the off ramp? And I'm going to strategically figure out, how to do this right. Save up a war chest, don't go out and buy the golden handcuffs. Yeah. And it was about 3 years before I felt like it was time to launch. But we had shot the pilot for the Daytripper after about 6 months. But it took that much longer just to get the thing on, raise some money, right. Figure out how to raise money, figure out how to edit, how to do all that stuff. I mean, I had some basic education, but it's a lot different when you're actually doing a project than trying to impress the world with it. And so after about 3 years, I made the break, kissed the legal career goodbye. I didn't know how long it would be. I mean, I had no idea I'd be doing, 11 years later, I still wouldn't be a lawyer. I always thought I'll go do this, give it a shot. And I can always jump back into the lawyer safety net, and thank the Lord I haven't had to do that.
Well, you could have stuck with it and, become Better Call Saul 2 or something.
Yeah. Hey, that's still in my future. I've got the persona. I'm going to wait until I lose all my hair, and I'm going to go Daddy Warbucks it. I'm going to be the bald eagle of justice. That's it. And you're going to see me all over TV. And I've already got it scripted out.
Yeah,
I'm that guy. Remember me?
He just pointed at the camera a lot.
Yeah, the bald eagle, and the bald eagle is going to bring in bags of money and just drop it on people who've been in car accidents. So that's it.
So let me ask you this question. So, Chet, it seems like every time I turn the Daytripper on, you're eating some sort of food, mainly cheeseburgers. Right? I mean, it's like,
well, it's cheeseburgers and
barbecue.
Yeah, you did a whole segment on cheeseburgers, I thought.
Yeah.
You did a whole segment on cheeseburger.
Yeah.
What is your LDL cholesterol count right now? That's what I want to know right now.
I'll steal a line from my friend who's a professional barbecue eater. When people ask him what his cholesterol is, he says, it's managed. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No. I mean, we eat really good on the show, but the trick is you cannot eat that well every day. I say, day tripping is a vacation. You're gonna cut the norm, so you better not be on a diet. Go enjoy yourself. But come Monday morning, it's back to salads and broccoli. What I ate today was absolutely pathetic. It was like this single serving tuna cup and some carrot sticks, which I was like, I'm about to eat my arm, honestly, but that's what you got to do, that way I can actually go out because the show is not just the eating, although the eating is, of course, one of my favorite parts, but there's hiking and skydiving and zip lining and all these things that I need to be in decent shape for. So there is a trade-off. So.
Well, speaking of barbecue, did you all make a run to Snow's Barbecue in Lexington?
Oh, so this is one of the things. Snow's just opened back up after the pandemic.
2 weeks ago, right?
The line was 4 hours long.
Yeah, we showed up on Saturday. It wrapped around the building twice. We just took a picture and left.
Was that this past weekend?
Yeah,
or
this
the
past
weekend?
Saturday. Right, this past Saturday.
One of my best friends was there on Saturday, and he waited in line 2 hours. I was like, well, that's half of what it was the opening weekend. So
right.
No, if you guys saw the burger episode, one of the things we've done for this season is we go eat at one place and we use it as a backdrop to talk about all the other things we've eaten. So we went to the Andice General Store for burgers, and then, it looked like a lot of burgers, but you got to remember that was 10 years of burger eating condensed into 30 minutes. So we can all look like slobs if you take 10 years of our life and cram it into 30 minutes. We look like whatever you want us to look like. But we're doing a barbecue show, and we are indeed going to go film at Snow's just in a couple months. So that's been one of the places I've eaten there personally a few times. And I know Tootsie and I know Carrie, but there's nothing else in Lexington. So there's no show there. So I've always been struggling with, well, if we do it, how do I fill the other 30 minutes? Because I can't sit there and make a 30-minute show on one thing. So this has actually been perfect because it's given us an opportunity to say, like, I just need one good one. And then I'll build it out with all the past episodes. So we are going to Snow's on the show. As long as the world stays open. I know. I'm excited.
Amen. Here you go, Jimbo. Jimbo, can you see this?
Here he is.
One of my finest moments.
Which leads me to my next question. What is your favorite dish? Now, be truthful here. You've been all over the state. What is the one thing, Chet, that just hit you like, oh my gosh, this is amazing?
Oh gosh. I mean, there's some memorable meals we've had. Have y'all heard of Perini Ranch Steakhouse south of Abilene in this little town called Buffalo Gap?
Is that where you have to eat the thing under 2 hours or something? And you?
Oh no. Yeah, I tried to do that one, Jeff. That was a miserable failure. That was in the Big Texan Steak Ranch in Amarillo.
Yeah.
That thing. Oh gosh, it's 4.5 pounds of beef. That's a whole other story.
It came with a side of Lipitor.
Yeah.
And that's like salad for a month. Then you try for the steak.
Yeah. Well, I was honestly worried about hurting myself trying to eat the steak. So I was intimidated, not from the sense of like, am I going to do it or not? I knew I was going to fail. I was worried I was going to eat so much of it that my stomach would burst and I'd be in the emergency room, which evidently isn't really that possible. Yeah. But I made a go at it. I got about a little over halfway down, which means I ate 2.25 pounds of steak. Wow. It felt like Alien, when the thing pops out of Sigourney Weaver's stomach or whatever. It's like the thing.
Yes.
But like Perini Ranch Steakhouse in it's this little town called Buffalo Gap. It's like, you remember the old Salt Lick that you had to drive to way out in the country and you felt like you were in the middle of nowhere and it was like this special meal of barbecue. That's what Perini Ranch is for steak. So people fly in, people drive in, and that's one of those that if I'm in within an hour, I'm going to make a run to Perini Ranch, for a Perini Ranch ribeye. There's just almost nothing else will beat it. But if I'm on death row and you get your last meal, like that's probably barbecue. I mean, that's probably like a really good 3-meat plate, Texas Trinity, brisket, sausage, ribs.
Oh yeah.
They can't.
Here.
And
you can't do better, really.
Fade to black.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the German food up in Lampasas a couple episodes ago.
Dude, that was some good.
It's good stuff, isn't it? Yeah.
That was such good stuff. Have you been to Eve's? Have you been there?
I have, absolutely. I graduated from Cove a number of years ago. So
okay.
That's my old stomping grounds.
Oh no, I love that place, and she's a riot. The whole experience there is great.
Yeah, there used to be a place called Lisa's Schnitzel House, and that was in the same town. That was awesome. That was really good. But Eve's is up there now, and we really like that. We in fact we took her folks there before the lockdown happened. It was really good.
Okay, cool. But I've got places like I crave different sorts of food all the time. Like there's times where I really just want like a fresh piece of redfish pulled out of the Gulf, smothered in blackened seasoning. That right there in butter. Like sometimes that's perfect. Or shrimp. Just some blackened shrimp on the coast, put it on a taco. Oh, now I'm getting even more hungry. I told you about my stupid tuna can.
And carrots.
Yeah. Oh, it's lame lunch. But, it's what you got to do.
So what town are you looking forward to visiting? What have you not?
Ooh. This is one of my favorite parts of the job is getting to plan out the season. And so every season at the beginning, I sit down with a map of Texas and I'm like, try to plan out a season that we get 13 episodes a year. So it's not that many. And we get like, one that's geographically diverse, one that's diverse in the sense of like, I can't eat barbecue every meal. So I got to swap in some German food or some fish or something cool, bison maybe even. The map is closing in. I'm not near running out of places, but there's a lot of stuff. I'm like, it's getting a little smaller, the dead space in between. But the one I'm most excited about this coming season is, y'all know about Big Bend National Park. Well, there's a Big Bend State Park right next to it.
Yep.
That is supposedly just as beautiful by some accounts. And I've never been. So that one is the one I'm most excited about. We're going to go to Presidio, which is this little podunk town on the border.
Right on the border.
And include the Chinati Hot Springs and the Big Bend Ranch State Park and some of the other stuff down there. So
Yeah, and also if you go, let me know and I'll go play golf with you at Lajitas in Big Bend. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Have you ever played there?
I have not played. I called the head pro, Chet, and he's like, come on out. And I know people from all over the state and the country fly in there and play that golf course.
Oh, yeah.
One of the best in the state.
And some of the greens are in Mexico.
Right. You just hit over there.
You hit over the border.
Right.
And then come
back.
And
How cool is that?
Your way back over? What? I don't understand.
Right.
I have no idea how they got away with that one, but it sounds awesome.
Yeah, so let me know, and let's go tee it up.
Okay.
Jimbo, we'll all go over there. Because I have been, Jimbo and I have been all over the world. I have never been to Big Bend.
Oh, you got to go, Jeff.
I've never been. We keep saying every year, let's go, and there's always something going on. But if so, it sounds like you are a golfer.
I'm a hack golfer.
Okay.
Not a scratch golfer, a hack golfer. And like, but like I'll go out and not totally embarrass myself. But, I set my par at double bogey so that I actually hit par a few times, and I feel good about myself.
Yeah, well, the old adage, there's no golf like free golf.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So were you in, speaking of golf real quick, and I don't know this, but, Andrew Landry went to Port Neches. Did you know him or Chris Stroud?
Oh, yeah. Chris Stroud is actually my wife's cousin. So we've been keeping track on him.
Wow.
Landry, I do not know, but Stroud, oh yeah, that's our hometown boy.
Okay.
And so, so my wife's second cousin, I guess. My wife's parents are first cousins with Chris's mom. So it's fun. It's fun having somebody to watch.
Yes.
Although I don't really keep up with golf too much. Here's what happens on a Sunday afternoon. The family texts will start flying around. Chris is making a run. He's making a run.
Yeah.
And so then I'll go turn on golf. We'll watch him as he, finishes up the last few holes.
Right.
And, win or lose, whatever, we're there cheering for him. And he's come this close to some big ones. He's won some, but we're still waiting for him to win some of the big ones.
You brought up your wife, and I love the story that I read about you and your wife. First of all, you're high school sweethearts. That's awesome. My wife and I are the same. Just celebrated 33 years.
Woohoo!
The other day.
Congrats.
So tell us about the story when you all decided you were going to get married and there was a fight over a cake. Tell me about the fight over the chocolate cake.
Oh gosh, I'm trying to. I know the article you read that got posted in Edible Austin.
Yep.
And there was Man, I'm blanking. It had to do with the recipe, Jimbo?
Yeah, the recipe that you wanted your family recipe and she wanted her family recipe.
So, So we grew up eating something called grandma's chocolate cake all the time. I mean, it was just it was at everything. It was at Easter. It was at Christmas. It was at everything. And the question was always, who's making grandma's chocolate cake? And so
hopefully grandma, but
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know. I think my grandma might have made it once or twice, but usually it was us or an aunt or uncle.
Yeah.
But it was grandma's chocolate cake. And so then it became time for us to get married. And we were going to have basically, we had a very cheap wedding. And so we were going to have like a groom's cake that was just kind of like a show cake. And then we were going to make pans and pans of backup cake that we were going to serve the guests, and she wanted to serve groom's cake. And I'm like, no. I want grandma's chocolate cake. You cannot have groom's cake. And then so we got in a fight about what it was. I'm like, whose cake is this? You handle the bride's cake. Let me handle the groom's cake. And then so she's like, well, you just have to try groom's cake. So her mom made some. Turns out it's grandma's chocolate cake.
It's the same exact cake.
It's all the same. And it's, it's the classic Texas sheet cake,
right.
Which, moist chocolate cake with a layer of frosting on it so thick it's almost like fudge on top of it, So turns out like we kind of had similar family traditions. We just called it different things. And she'd grown up eating groom's cake her whole life at Christmas and Easter and everything like that. So
the same exact recipe.
Same exact recipe.
Yeah. Now, have you taken boudin with you to Georgetown? Does anybody know what you're talking about? Boudin.
Oh man, I like you don't even pronounce the N. That shows that you're a true Southeast.
Yeah, if you listen long enough, Chad, it's going to be y'all fixin' wash. We wash clothes. What?
Yeah, you wash.
Here's a new one I do to my girls. Let me. What is that? Let me go. Let me go. What? Let me.
Let me.
Hey, let me. I'll tell another story since we were talking about my wife. My wife, I tell this one all the time, but like Southeast Texas pronunciation is sloppy at best. And so she's taken her syllable test, like where how many syllables does this word have?
Right.
And she gets to the word orange, and she's in second grade or third grade, whenever you take that. Orange, the fruit. Well, there's also a town in Southeast Texas that isn't orange. It's spelled the same. It's not orange, it's orange. Hey, y'all going to orange?
Right.
And so she misses that on the exam because she went and asked the teacher, how many syllables? I know there's the fruit, but there's the town. Which one are you talking about? And so she put one syllable because it's not orange, it's orange. Orange. Hey, y'all going to orange? And so I dog on her all the time. Anytime we see the town, anytime we go back home or whatever. Which, to come full circle on it though, like I spent first grade on through high school down there, thought like we were the one part of our family that had ever lived in Southeast Texas, because all of my family, aunts, uncles, grandparents were in like the Stephenville, Comanche, Hamilton area of the state. Well, I started doing genealogy. Turns out my great grandfather was a sheriff in Orange. He was
Orange.
Another one of my uncles founded Sabine Pass.
Wow.
Like we got to Texas early in the 1820s.
With Jean Lafitte.
Yeah. I'm sure that some of them were pirates. They had to be pirates.
Yes.
And so some part of me is from those swampy waters of Southeast Texas. Of course, I didn't know that moving down there until much later. But let's get back to your original question about boudin. I love boudin. And I'm amazed at how many people up here have never had it. Mm-mm. Jimbo, you've got to have had boudin before. Do you know what we're talking about?
I worked in Nacogdoches, 2 tours of duty in radio and Stephen F. Austin. So, I know what boudin is. Absolutely.
Yeah, he saw the Romantics in
the California, in Nacogdoches, Texas.
Wait, that may be. Do you remember the Romantics, Chet? You remember Heart? You remember Heart?
Oh, I know Heart. Yeah.
The Romantics is in the 80s. That's way back. But anyway, boudin. Yeah.
We used to have a jock on the air that would warm it up in the microwave, which is just one step away from cooking fish in the microwave at the office.
Oh, yeah.
Please don't do that.
No, that is true. Yeah. Jeff, you may not have seen our Port Arthur episode, but we went back down there, went to the boudin hut in Port Arthur where they were hand making boudin, filling all the casings by hand.
Yes.
Oh, it's great. And and another delicacy, which you saw the episode, but I started looking for barbecue crabs outside of Jefferson County, and they don't exist, which I've been amazed. Yeah, but you might not even know that. Barbecue crabs, like they.
Yeah, it used to be not Chet. When I was a kid, we all went to the boondocks. We went to the boondocks.
Yeah.
You used to feed the alligators. You'd throw hush puppies, and the alligators would slowly rise up.
Oh, yeah.
Slowly submerge the hush puppy and go down. Now, then it was Sartans. It turned into Sartans, and then it was out, I don't know. But remember, I've been gone for so long, but it used to be out by Sabine Pass. But then it was more like Barks Gardens, which is now, I guess, Nederland.
Yep.
So I don't know if that's still open, but I did see your episode when you were doing the boudin. I did watch that episode.
Yeah, yep. And there's not many places left down there that are doing the true barbecue crabs. And Jimbo,
Wow.
if you don't know, we're talking about they're deep fried. They're battered and deep fried.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
But I tried to find them because I wanted to include, I've made a list doing the show for so long. And these are the interesting foods that I know I got to find a place to eat it. And so I started looking for a place to eat barbecue crabs and would call places in Houston even, and they had no idea what I was talking about.
Wow. Well, Chad, let me throw this by you real quick. Port Arthur used to have a restaurant called El Charro's. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. El Charro.
El Charro's by far is the best Mexican food I have ever had.
It only exists in my deep memory. My gauge for Mexican food was much more primal back then. Just like get it in my mouth. I don't care. Now I've become a bit more of a connoisseur. But I haven't been. Is El Charro still around?
No, it's closed. But if you ask people from Port Arthur or Southeast Texas, El Charro's was the big. That's the.
I remember going to El Charro for sure.
But anyway.
And then my family had some weird habit of going to La Suprema by Central Mall.
I remember.
Just the place my dad liked. So
listen, we used to go to Casa Ole, and they would have the
no. He said
margaritas.
Casa Ole.
Casa Ole.
Sorry, see, I feel comfortable with Chet.
That's right. There it is. The Casa Ole. Man, that was the place after football games, basketball games, church events. We going to Casa Ole? That was.
Yes.
Oh, man. That was by far.
Chet, this will tell you how old I am. I remember when Central Mall got built. I remember when Babe Zaharias Golf Course got built. We used to run across, jump in the ponds, and steal the golf balls. I didn't, but my friends did.
Sure. I remember thinking, I'm going to fish every golf ball out of this pond.
Absolutely.
And then it's like, what am I going to do with 50 golf balls?
My question is, do you have to dodge the alligators to get the ball?
Good point.
Yeah.
You actually do.
Yeah.
If you ever went to Pleasure Island and played at the Palms out there,
yes,
big alligators would come up and just sit on the green.
Yeah.
And you'd have to call the marshal over, and he'd come and scare them off with a stick or something like that. That was fun.
Yeah, I was there one time, and I was on one of the holes that ran parallel with the water, and I just turned sideways and teed it up and took my driver and hit it to see if I could hit the golf ball over the water.
Uh-huh.
The first one hit in the water. The second one, we heard it hit on the other side. Yes. And what was that? I get the bridges mixed up. That's MLK, and then Rainbow Bridge was up by.
Yeah, Rainbow Bridge is the one that'll take you to Bridge City. Pleasure Island Bridge or MLK Bridge will take you to Pleasure Island.
Yes, and Chet, let's get back to. I want to ask you about. Have you seen the Marfa Lights yet? Have you been to the Alamo? You're going to Big Bend. What about the Riverwalk, Enchanted Rock? It goes on and on and on and on and on. What are you looking forward to?
I think I've done all of those things. In fact, I know I've done all of those things. Let me see. Right now I'm most excited about filling in some of the parts of Texas that I don't know very well. So I've been to South Padre Island. I've been to Brownsville. I've only driven through McAllen. And then there's this great stretch of these little Mexican villas almost. They're not even towns, San Ignacio and things like that trickle up the Mexico border. I'm really excited about that. That's kind of where I'm most excited about. I feel like I've tripped and explored the big cities enough. Now there's always more to explore. There's 100 more episodes we could make in Austin and Houston and Dallas.
Sure.
But there are these little, this little pocket. And I've got a fascination right now with the U.S.-Mexico border because I grew up, we would go over into Mexico. And, it was kind of a normal thing when we were on summer vacation, we would jump over into Mexico. And you can't really do that anymore, at least not like you used to be able to. But you can still get the feel of those places if you go down to the Mexico border and stay on the U.S. side, because there's a lot of those people who used to live in Mexico and now they've come over and they've set up shop here. And so they almost feel like old Mexico felt. And so it's an interesting mix of cultures down there. And I'm terrible at Spanish, so it feels like I'm doing international travel.
Oh, when you say stuff like orange, of course. They
Orange.
Orange and Casa Olay.
Hey, hey,
Casa Olay.
my wife and I just saw the San Angelo episode. And I wanted to thank you because the point that you started, the very opening shot, was literally a stone's throw from the gazebo that we got married in.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So thank you so much for doing that. But I bring that up because I want to know kind of your process. Kind of walk us through what your production process is. Does it start with the script? Does it start with, hey, I'm just going to do a scouting trip? Tell me how that works.
Yeah. I mean, now 10, 11 years into it, I scout all the time. And just because I used to be able to go to every place before we would film, I would make a personal trip out there, see everything. But now life is just too darn busy. So 5 kids at home, you can't exactly strap them in. They're not happy to make a little 4-hour trip somewhere, in the car just to eat at one Mexican restaurant and turn around and come back. That's kind of, I can get my jollies from those. They don't. Yeah. And so, I do a lot of research early, but I have tried, but I'm constantly scouting. So anytime I'm making a trip to somewhere, there tends to be other little side trips off of that. And I'm keeping very robust lists of things that I like, things that I don't like, or ideas, tips that people have given me. And so the beginning of every season starts like just whiteboarding. So I fill in all the places I need to go. And so 13 episodes a year, I'll be like, okay, I got to put at least one in the Panhandle. What's in the Panhandle that I haven't done or sounds interesting to me? And I'm going to put a pin on that. I'm like, okay, East Texas, Hill Country. I kind of do that with every region. And then I'm like, oh, I really want to go and eat at this barbecue place or German place in this town. Well, all right, if I eat at this German place, then I don't want to fill the episode with German food. So that's probably the only get that I get of German food. So the season at least. And then so I'll jump over, like kind of just start to push it together, like I'm going to rock climb there. Okay. So that probably means I'm not going to rock climb here. And that's really fun because that's this really scatterbrained thing. Then it starts with, all right, these are the episodes I want. And then I've got to pinpoint the things I want to do in those towns. So, typically, I mean, we used to squeeze like 8 stops, 9 stops into a single episode, but we realized that when you're doing that, you're kind of just making a brochure of the town and you're not really doing it good justice. So we limit the amount of things we go do to 5. 2 of those are restaurants. Something's got to be an outdoorsy thing. Something's got to be a cultural thing, and that could be a museum or a bit of history or a brewery or, just some kind of cultural stop that isn't necessarily fit in the other categories. And then we get one wild card that could be usually not another restaurant, but maybe it's a cookie bakery or maybe it's there's a couple good cultural stops. And so I outline, and that's really all I start with. I just start with an outline that's like, we're going to get there about here. In the episode, this is the way I see these things flow. Of course, dinner's got to happen at the end of the episode. If I'm eating donuts, that's got to happen at the top of the episode. Yeah. And so I build an outline. I toss it to a producer. They start scheduling it over 2 days. We're going to spend 2 days in any town. And then we film completely out of order, just based upon the availability of the people we're seeing. And sometimes it means I get there and I eat dinner. I literally do my Via Con Dios segment, the very first one. And I have no idea how the rest of the episode is going to pan out, but I'll just, you just kind of have to fake it. And then I wear the same stinky clothes for 2 days, plan, get it all shot, hopefully, hop back in the van, come back down, start editing. And that's where the real nitty gritty creative process starts to happen.
So you're not scripting this out before you go and then coming back and doing the VO. You actually shoot and then you come and write after you shoot.
Yeah. Because I've always said there's really 3 shows. There's the show you plan. There's the show you shoot, which is always different than the show you planned because something's going to come up. Right. And then there's the show you edit. And the show you edit's the most important of them. because not that you can't shoot absolute garbage and then come back and spin it and make it look good. You have to really do all three of those things well, but the editing is where that wordsmithing comes into play.
Yep.
And I don't like doing more work than I have to. So why would I preemptively write voiceover for something that I have no idea how it's going to come out?
Sure.
And I am much more comfortable flying by the seat of my pants than most. And so that's what I like to do.
So
I like to just go out and like live in the moment, and then we'll come back and we'll fix it in post.
So the script, all the zaniness, all the sketches that you do, you just make those up. All right, let's do this.
Well, no. I mean, I've got rough ideas of some of the sketches.
Okay.
So the sketches, I'm trying to think like,
well, hey,
you just, yeah.
One thing you do that I noticed is y'all always have a shot of you pulling up in the truck. The truck's always pulled up.
Did you notice that Don Hewlett Chevrolet?
Like every episode, there's the truck. Okay.
There she is.
I-35 in Georgetown, if we're going there.
So what does the future look like for the Day Tripper?
I think, it seems crazy that to have your dream job without, much hope of expansion. But I feel like we're in a really sweet spot right now. We air all over Texas. We got 10 years under our belts of doing this thing. Not to say that we have a process or an assembly line of it, but we know what we're doing. And so the Day Tripper, I'm just going to keep riding it until I have to enter every business on the wheelchair ramp and blend my food up into mashed potatoes, I got no teeth like that. I wouldn't mind that at all. We've had opportunities to jump up to what a lot of people consider the big leagues, Travel Channel, those kind of things.
Right.
Discovery was something, and they're not good deals. They're really not. And we have so much latitude and creative control over everything we do.
Yeah.
And in those situations, they were looking at me just to fill a shirt and to smile on camera. And then you would just pass it off to someone else and the whole thing would get spun. Yeah. I'm like, oh, that just doesn't sound like the kind of art I want to make. And it seems weird to call what I do art, but it is. To me, it's kind of what God made me to do. And so I'm getting to do it at what I hope is with my best effort. And I would just hate to do it with someone else coming in and just whitewashing everything to do whatever they want to do. Like in San Angelo, when I wanted to dress my crew up as ladies of the night, and then that was okay because there was nobody going, Chet, this is a bad idea.
Right.
Yeah.
I have good friends that had a couple shows on DIY Network, and they said people think that's a sexy thing, and it is not. It is making sausage.
Yeah, that's right. That is exactly right. And you spend, we got the luxury of, we go out on the road and then we come back, and then we go out and we come back, and they're these little 1 night, maybe 2 night trips if it's really far away. But when you jump up to that level, they're like, all right, the next 2 months, you're going to be on the road and you will not see your family for 2 months.
Right.
And I'm like, you know how much damage can fall and things can be done and how much can fall apart in 2 months?
Right.
I mean, if I'm gone for 2 months, I may not have a family to come back to. And I say that in jest with a lot of respect for the people who disappear for 9 months, on military deployments. My goodness.
That's 12 months.
Yeah. Or 12, right? The sacrifice their family makes and how hard it is to stay connected. Yeah. So the idea of being gone from my family from that long, just that ain't going to work for me. So, you have to get up to Chip and Joanna's level before you can start calling the shots. Yeah. But for the most part, they're going to work you like a dog, not pay you well, and take all creative control away. So that is I love the Day Tripper, but most of all, I love telling stories. So Hogaboom Road, I know you recognize that.
Sarah Jane Road?
So it's Hogaboom Road. Hogaboom Road ran right through the edge of Groves and Port Neches.
Was that
right by
Sarah
the
Jane Road though?
Well, Sarah Jane was kind of at the end of Hogaboom Road.
Okay.
You're very close.
Yeah.
And so that's the production company. And the idea is that the production company can continue to grow with other commercial productions, which we're getting to make a lot of, that don't include my face on them, which is the way to really grow. So I'm really excited about the stuff we can do as a team on the production company side, as opposed to just the stuff that I've got to be the smiling face in front of. It's my Chet gets hit by a bus plan, because I can't, to put all the bank on this right here as the moneymaker. That's a bad proposition.
It's called a single point of failure, is what.
Yeah, exactly. That's yes. This is it. It's my face. The single point of failure.
Oh my goodness.
Hey,
well,
congratulations on your crew. Didn't they win part of the Emmy?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
And thank you for having a female sound designer and an audio person many times on your crew. That is a huge thing.
Oh yeah, Kelly's awesome. We've got some female producers we work with too. That is there's not as many females as you would hope in this business.
And specifically sound. I know very few, and that's why I said, you know what, I'm going to thank him for that. So kudos.
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's a joy to work with, and we don't hire her because she's female. We hire her because she's great.
Oh, absolutely, right?
Yeah. So it's
so
good to see.
If you ever need 2 voiceover guys, I know 2 pretty good ones, and they also paint your house. So if you need,
and we have our own booths. Hey, imagine
run internet through my attics, right? Too.
I think I got a Nederland beat Port Neches ticket here somewhere.
Right there behind him.
Oh, there's Craig Biggio. So let's see. So in summary, how do we get a Chet Garner Daytripper bobblehead doll? That's what we want. How do we get the bobblehead doll?
You know what? I had one made, and I didn't make it. This was kind of a clever thing. The Alcalde magazine, which is UT's alumni magazine, wanted to do a feature on me, but it was right as the pandemic was starting. And they're like, listen, we're not going to put a photographer and you together. We got to socially distance. So we're just going to shoot. We're going to get a bobblehead made of you and then get it to the photographer, and he's going to shoot it on a road. Well, no, so they made one, and no one at the Alcalde wanted it, evidently, when it was over. So they gave it to me. Maybe they were being nice. They gave it to me, and I donated it to the Cathedral of Junk in South Austin.
Nice.
It was part of our show. I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave a memento to add to this chaos.
Yes.
And so now the one bobblehead of me that exists is zip tied to a wall at the Cathedral of Junk. That we've talked about making them, but you got to make like 10,000 of those things before they get cheap. And I don't think there's 10,000 people who want my head on their dashboard. Look at this though. I've got 2 great bobbleheads on my desk. This guy right there. Y'all recognize him? All right.
All right.
That's McConaughey, and then I got old
Nolan
Ryan right there.
Yes.
But
I'm not quite on these dudes' level.
Oh, Matthew, he came over to my house to do a session right after he filmed
Contact.
Contact, yeah.
Really?
Like, hey, man, what's going on? He knocked on the door. I opened it. He said, Jimbo. I said, Matthew. Come on.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
So do you have to do some ADR stuff or what?
No, he was doing an appearance for a buddy up in West Texas in a band called
Coup de Grace.
Coup de Grace, yeah. And he was doing an appearance, and he needed a radio spot, and he didn't want to come over to the radio station. And I said, well, I have a studio at my house. Oh, yeah, I'll do that. Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
It was pretty cool. He was a nice guy. He was a nice guy.
Everyone I know who's met him, I've never met him. Everybody I know who's met him says the same thing. Just a good, kind of genuine guy. Just kind of like you expect. Oh, yeah. All right.
He showed up in a pair of shorts, a fanny pack, and flip-flops. I kid you not. Yes, I did.
Watch the leather, man.
Fanny pack. That's cool, man. That's just too cool. Very few guys can pull off the fanny pack. He's one of them, for sure.
Well, Mr. Garner, what can we say other than thank you, the Daytripper, and we'll put all the information on our website and all of the audio and video podcast as well. We just want to say thank you. My gosh, we'd love to hang out with you. We're certainly in the same area. Jimbo's in Marble Falls. I'm down the road in Austin. You're in Georgetown. My mom's in Sun City, and she worships you. She's going to freak out when she finds out this has happened. But thank you very much.
That's awesome to hear.
Before we go, tell us about the Georgetown holiday bingo thing that's going on.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So we I've got a little card right here. So we made a bingo of all the things you can do in Georgetown around Christmas time, because Georgetown is one of those towns. I mean, Jimbo, it's like Marble Falls. It lights up.
Yep.
Absolutely beautiful square. And so we put some silly stuff on here, like ice cream in the wintertime. And we've got some great ice cream shops down here. You know, sipped hot cocoa from a local coffee shop. You know, snap the pic at the Christmas mural. And so if people will fill this thing out and get a bingo, they can bring it by the store and get 20% off. Also a limited edition koozie with my face on it. It's always funny.
Oh, nice.
It's always funny when, you know, people clamor for things with my face on. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. But it is limited edition. I'm wearing a cowboy Santa hat, and it'll keep your toasty beverages warm, or your frothy beverages cold. I don't know. It's like the reverse koozie. It warms up your beer and it makes your hot cocoa cold.
So, Chet, you have a store in Georgetown? I did not know that.
I do. Yeah. So we moved into this about 1.5 years ago, and it was more square footage than we really needed. And so we thought, well, let's open up a little store on the front. So we sell our merchandise, you know, things that say Daytripper, like the camo hat I'm wearing, t-shirts. But then the coolest thing is we've brought in a lot of other Texas makers, pocket knives that are made in the Panhandle, and glasses that are blown in Austin, soaps that are made in Waco, Canada, you know, like all these really cool, high quality items from these little small makers. And it's fun. I mean, it's a shoebox, but it's a neat little shoebox.
Well, that's awesome. We will definitely come by and check it out.
Come check it out. Yeah. We're so close. There's no reason to not get together.
We were driving by to go to Lexington the other day, and we were just thinking about that. I'm like, I wonder where Chet's place is. It's around here someplace.
Yeah. Hey, come on down.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking with you, Chet. And, you know, thank you for giving us a little bit of your time, and thank your wife for everything that she does with all of your kids and your production crew and everything like that.
Yeah. Hey, thank you, Jimbo, Jeff. It's a pleasure, man. It's absolutely great.
The Jimbo and Jeff Show. The Jimbo and Jeff Show.